Some of your favorite UFC fighters may have changed weight classes, and you might not even know it. Guys like Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, basically every single lightweight started off as a featherweight. So today on Dodson's Corner, we're going to be talking about some of those fighters that could be moving weight classes in the near future.
Should I start us off?
Yeah, start it off, Lucas.
One of my favorite fighters, Rob Whittaker.
Ooh, moving up to light heavy.
I think he should go 205. I don't think there's much for him to do at 185. He's been a champ. He's lost a lot of times to the top guys. He's just not quite at that top level anymore. He's always getting older, obviously, and his last loss was brutal. So I'm not sure how he's going to recover. Apparently, he does have probably a fight booked. Kyle has a fight booked in June, so I'm assuming that's going to be Whittaker because Whittaker wanted to come back in June forever, and they've been kind of going back and forth. So I think he'll have one more fight, and if he loses to another up-and-comer, what more? Like, are you going to become Jared Cannonier?
Yeah, put on the extra pounds, buddy. Balkan season.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's not really a tall middleweight. He's about 6'6" maybe, so he's not going to be like a good size light heavyweight, but to be honest, he probably has twice the skill of the average light heavyweight.
Yeah,
but the chin is the thing that I'm really worried about.
Let me tell you something. In my research for this video, just because I'm extra like that, I put the height of all my fighters beside them. I got all their heights.
Wow, look at this guy. I've actually memorized every UFC fighter's height, so I don't need that. Honestly, though, quiz me when you say your fighters, and I'll see if I can guess.
All right,
okay?
All right. I'm going to move on to a light heavyweight fighter. I have a guy that should be moving up to light heavyweight, we'll say. Israel Adesanya.
Oh, is he? He's 6'2" or 6'3"?
6'4".
No, that is a lie, bro. That's basketball players.
Some of these
capping.
could be wrong because they had them in inches, and then I just converted them to feet in my head, so I might have messed them up, but I'm pretty confident in them. I think Izzy's 6'4", but I think that there's nothing really left for him at middleweight. It's very similar to Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
And there's a division up ahead of you where it'll be easier on your chin. You can go and have a couple fights up there and just maybe have some wins too.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be tough to win in middleweight right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Izzy and Whittaker, it doesn't really look like they struggle with their weight cut. So it's yeah, you could go up, but it's not like they're struggling. And Izzy's always had, I don't know, he's always been tall, lanky, that's just his build,
Yeah,
so
we've seen him in light heavyweight not look good. It might have been one of the worst performances of prime Izzy's career.
Mm-hmm. He's good because he's so fast.
Yeah, and I think with Izzy is that you put him in skill wise, he's a top 3 light heavyweight. I think that's the same thing with Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think they're probably both more skilled than Yuri Prochazka. More skilled, and then you take the weight into account, and then that's where Yuri would probably be better, but skill wise,
right? Yeah, skill for skill. I mean, it's the same thing. You can say the same thing with Volk, right? Skill for skill, he's the best featherweight, but because of his chin, there's always questions.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, my next fighter. This one is something that we haven't talked about in a long time, or in some time, but it's something that we need to see happen. We need to see Pereira go to heavyweight at some point in his career, just to see, could he do it? He's been the middleweight champ, he's been light heavyweight champ with multiple defenses, and he's obviously going to get that Ankalaev rematch probably in August, maybe September. No, not September, that's Guadalajara, but
I think it's August.
Yeah, probably August. So he has one more fight in light heavyweight. I don't think he gets the belt back, to be honest. Unfortunately, sure, he had an off night, but we've been saying that for a couple fights now, I just loving it.
Here's the thing, Pereira wins that. They're like, all right, we may as well straight away do the trilogy. And the thing is that it wouldn't even be ruining anyone's momentum in light heavyweight because no one will be ready for the belt to fight for the belt at that point.
Well, Olberg thinks he deserves a shot.
I don't.
I
don't think he deserves a shot yet.
Yuri versus Olberg, that's perfect.
Yeah,
And
then you have your true number one contender. But yeah, obviously everyone knows that Pereira in heavyweight is something that is very interesting. Who knows how that goes?
Yeah,
I think eventually the UFC might get desperate enough with a Tom. If he's beaten everyone, he finally becomes undisputed champion. They're like, hey, Pereira, need a favor.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely possible that he gets a title shot right at heavyweight, especially if he wins the belt back and it's like, oh, I'm good, I'm done light heavyweight.
Well, and I think too is if you're Alex Pereira and the last fight of your career is a heavyweight title fight up against a guy like Tom Aspinall and you lose that fight, it doesn't really diminish your resume.
No.
I think it kind of looks a little bit similar to like Stipe fighting John Jones. Like
Right.
that didn't do any, like it doesn't negatively affect Stipe Miocic
Yeah.
losing to John Jones.
Yeah, he's already cemented himself as the best heavyweight for now.
Exactly.
Just wait till Big Tom comes up.
All right,
Wait, can I tell you something real quick? I was watching F1 the other day, and I just randomly saw Cyril Gahn there, and I was like, fuck you. I was like, screw you, bro. Go start training for a fight or something.
All right, my next guy is a guy that I'm really high on to move up. I think that he's done in his division. He can move up into a division that is so weak right now and is dying for some star power. Sean O'Malley. How tall is Sean O'Malley?
Sean O'Malley's 5'11".
Yes, he is. But you're telling me that like Sean O'Malley moving up to featherweight, like would by far be the second best featherweight behind Volk, and inevitably like a Sean O'Malley versus Gene Silva fight.
That would be a banger.
Oh, that would be unreal.
The
like
striking.
Sean O'Malley versus Lopez. Mm-hmm. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of fun matchups, and I think if he loses to Merab again, it's like, okay, you're not gonna win against. Probably not against an Umar in the future as Umar keeps on progressing. You're not beating Merab. So, yeah, I think he should move up because realistically, I think he wants to still be a champ.
Exactly.
Like, he still believes in himself.
He doesn't want to be the third best guy, the fourth best guy in a division.
Exactly.
He wants to be one of the guys.
Yeah. And I think the featherweight top 5 is kind of open for that taking.
Exactly. And like, by the time he rematches Merab, who knows what happens there, comes back for the next fight, Volk might have even retired at that point because it's not like Volk has a long time left. Like 2025 might be the last year. Like if he has 2 more defenses, he's like,
or 1 more loss.
Yeah, next loss, I think he's for sure done. And then after that, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. Also, I think Sean O'Malley versus Yair Rodriguez would be unbelievable.
There's just some exciting fights. Like I think also like Sean O'Malley versus, this is a lower down guy, but Arnold Allen. Like I think that's very much like Peter Yan-esque.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of great matchups, and I think he's the right build for it too.
Exactly. 5'11", like he'd still be probably one of the tallest featherweights.
Yeah, Max is 5'11", and he's one of the tall featherweights. He's not Sean Woodson, but
yeah.
All right, my next fighter. This one you're going to like, Zhang Weili to flyweight.
I also have Zhang Weili to flyweight.
You got to do it. Like, let her. She has deserved it. She's up there with Pantoja in the deserving.
They just hate the smallest champions.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't deserve anything. 3 title defenses. You don't deserve to go up and fight for a double championship,
Yeah, but she's actually exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to be disrespectful and not give you pound for pound number 1. The girl has no title defenses on her current reign, Shevchenko. Zhang Weili is just dominating everyone.
Yeah, that Tatiana Suarez win is actually one of the most impressive fights I've ever seen.
It was unreal.
Like, everyone going into it is like, oh, Tatiana Suarez is the best wrestler we've ever seen in this division. It's like, dude, Zhang Weili shucked her off just easily.
Yeah, and Verna Jandiroba, she can be like, sorry, nope.
Yeah. Why isn't my takedowns working? It's like in UFC 5 when they keep on like pushing you to the side over and over again. Yeah, I need to see her go and get double champ status because she could be going in the direction of second best women's fighter of all time.
Oh, I think I think that she's very underrated. Yeah. And I think by the time her career's done, she could be number 2 behind Nunes.
Yeah.
And I think if Kayla Harrison didn't exist, there's a world where she could be a triple champion. I just think she'd struggle to outpower Kayla Harrison.
Yeah. Kayla Harrison's a fatty, bro.
Dude.
She got more tea than you. Yeah, if anyone's seen that picture of Kayla Harrison with a fan where she's just like jacked, that's scary shit.
All right, my next fighter, another bantamweight I think should take advantage of this weak featherweight division, Corey Sandhagen. How tall is Corey Sandhagen?
He's also 5'11".
No, he's 5'10".
5'10", 3/4.
That's right. But I think it's very similar to Sean, is like, bantamweight is so tough. There's so many guys coming up in bantamweight.
And Corey Sandhagen is so bad.
Corey Sandhagen is dog water. People are just, those keyboard warriors are just typing away right now.
That's our worst. The people hate us for that, bro. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Sandhagen is like, if you want to save your career, hop over to featherweight, because there's a lot of guys in featherweight that I think he's better than. But there's a lot of guys in bantamweight he ain't better than.
I would love to see how those tall guys translate into a featherweight division. Like, how good they look with that extra weight.
Yeah.
Extra power. Like, Sean O'Malley's already crazy powerful, so.
Yeah, but there's so many matchups for Corey Sandhagen. Like, I think a lot of the similar ones for Sean O'Malley, but he's not as good. So he gets to fight the lower guys like Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez. All those matchups for Sandhagen are awesome.
Giga Chikadze.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just featherweight's just a little bit better. You know, you don't got the Jose Aldos, the Kyler Phillips, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Bantamweight's just got that tough top.
Exactly. All right, moving on to my next guy. This is where I got Pantoja to bantamweight. You know,
like that's
another thing where it's just like UFC just book it already. You know, the Kai Car France fight is supposed to be it was supposed to be 3 years ago, but it's in about what 318 now they're saying.
Yeah,
like just book that freaking fight. Book it on a fight night headliner.
Because basically at this point, Kai Car France is gonna get passed up because it's gonna be Brandon Moreno in the main event of Noche in September.
Yeah, they love Mexicans.
Yeah.
So they're gonna make Brandon Moreno a title shot. Or
yeah,
something.
so you guys gotta fight quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else Kai Car France, you getting passed up, bro.
Yeah, and it's not like, I mean, to be honest, he's banking on this title shot off of a Steve Erceg win,
which is just aging poorly.
Exactly.
Well, and I think too, right now is like, it's not like these fighters are saying no, it's just that the UFC doesn't care about this fight the same way that the fans don't care about this fight.
I don't think Pantoja has said no to a single matchup.
Yeah. There is a lot more matchups more interesting than Kai Car France. I think the Royval rematch would be more interesting.
So good.
Moreno rematch is more interesting. Tyra maybe not yet, just because coming off the loss, but Manel Kopp is more.
Oh yeah, book Tyra already. Come on, bro.
Manel Kopp is also more interesting too right now.
Yeah. I think Pantoja deserves it. He should. And Merab is at a point where there was nothing for him. Like, they missed their opportunity where there's nothing for both champions.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
All right. My next guy is a guy that was rumored to move up from featherweight to lightweight. Hasn't done it yet, but I still think, you know what, if you're going to do it, do it. I don't know if it's the smartest career choice, but Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
You know, he obviously said he might want to move up to lightweight, make the cut easier. Because he had cut issues before? I feel like he had issues in that Diego Lopez.
The first one, he got sick, apparently.
Yeah.
So he only cut down to like 153. So, yeah, he's never been the best at cutting.
So, for a 5'8" lightweight, though, is a little small.
Was that all he is?
It's 5'8". Yeah, it's a little small to move up. But I also just don't know what he does in this division. You know, like, who does he go and fight? Gamrot?
Yeah, that would actually be an interesting fight. Like, he definitely had to fight in that bottom.
Grant Dawson?
Yeah, Patty Pimblett going to be ranked
ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't know. Bahamondes, like, who knows?
I mean, the thing is with Ortega that's good with him is that you can matchmake him against strikers and grapplers because, like, you know, as much as he has some of the best jiu-jitsu in the whole UFC, he really likes to stay on his feet.
Yeah, I don't know. But Brian Ortega is weird because how big is his name value? It feels like he used to be a bit of a big name in the featherweight division, but now he just doesn't get talked about. Yeah. So does he really deserve like a top 10 ranked fighter?
No.
Or does he only deserve like number 14?
Like a fight between Moicano and Ortega would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a really good fight to make. I think especially because they're both smaller lightweights, you know, you ease him into that transition. Yeah. But
both similar styles as well. Yeah. I'm going to send Kamaru Usman to retirement. I think he's spent too long out on the sidelines. He's, you know, okay, this is a weird analogy, but you know when you meet a girl once and you're like, oh, this was like amazing, and then you like don't talk to them or you don't see them in person for like weeks, and then you like build up this idea of them in your head, like, oh, they're so perfect. Kamaru Usman has done that with his fight career. He has not fought in so long that he's built up this idea that he's still like the greatest welterweight to ever walk the planet.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle in a return.
Oh, 100%. I don't think he beats any of the top 7 guys.
I think especially like what we've seen with Leon Edwards too is like it bumps Usman down a little bit.
For sure.
Because we have maybe the most competitive and the highest level welterweight division we've ever seen right now. And Usman is just not fighting. He's just slowly trickling his way down right now.
Yeah, and I think just everyone knows about his knee problems. He's a big welterweight, so it's not like the cut's going to get any easier. He's getting really old. His last fight was Hamzat. Before that was the Leon Edwards fight. So it's just like the dude is just not on a good trajectory right now. And he's expecting to come back and get a massive matchup. And it's like, bro, who are you beating in a massive matchup at 36 years old or however old he is? I originally had him moving up to middleweight because he looked really good in that Hamzat fight.
He did.
But I think it was more of Hamzat looking bad. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, my next guy, a welterweight, moving up to middleweight, Brian Battle. How tall is he?
Honestly, I have no idea. I would guess like 5'11" or 5'10".
6'1".
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
6'1". Well, he used to
I guess
fight
he
in
was a
heavyweight.
heavyweight.
You know,
Yeah.
so he was a guy who used to fight in heavyweight and has kind of slowly trickled his way down to welterweight. But we saw in his last fight, he did have weight cut issues, and with the weight cut issues, just looked horrible.
I guess with his last fight was also Randy Brown. And so I was thinking about their heights, and Randy Brown's like so tall though. He's 6'3".
Yeah. But I think just for Brian Battle's sake, like, you know, he is considered the top welterweight prospect that's outside of the rankings right now. But all the ones inside of the rankings are just, he is one of my favorite fighters, but they're all better than him.
Yeah.
You know? You move over to middleweight, which kind of lacks prospects. You know, you have guys like Shar and Bo Nickel, who are kind of your prospects there. Insert yourself up there. I think he could get higher in middleweight without having to worry about the weight cut issues, you know?
Yeah, that's true, because he did miss weight last time.
And with the like I already said, the missing weight, he looked so bad. Because the bad cut, he just looked terrible. Not have to worry about having that bad cut and just be able to, like, fight your best.
Yeah. I think that's a smart. Or he moves down to lightweight. Go down another
Just keep
division.
going, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Gets to flyweight. This is one that I didn't come up with myself, but he's talked about it. I think Rafael Fiziev should go down to featherweight. I don't think he beats many of the top guys in lightweight anymore. And he said his cut is so easy. So it's like, you know, you're not killing yourself getting down to lightweight. I think he would have better success in featherweight because you can get up to that top 5 pretty easily, in my opinion. He has the skill for it, absolutely. And some of those guys like Yair is technically a black belt, but I mean, when was the last time that we saw him dominate someone on the ground?
Yeah.
You know, I'm using Yair as a benchmark for this video pretty much, but Fiziev versus Yair, I think that's a great striking matchup. That is one of the best striking matchups you could make in the UFC, in my opinion. And I think it's a very close fight if Fiziev can make it down.
Jailton Almeida moving down to light heavyweight.
I like that.
You know, he is probably the smallest heavyweight, I would say, I think, weight-wise.
230 something.
Yeah. So, you know, cutting down the 30 pounds might be a little bit tough for him, but imagine this guy inside of the light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He would just dominate everyone on the ground.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a great move for him.
Because I think that a Tom Aspinall fight is tough.
Yeah.
You know, but...
So is an Ank fight, though.
Give him Hank.
Give him Ank? Dude.
I'd be okay with Jailton Almeida as my champion over Hank.
Really?
I just hate Hank.
That's crazy. Both have no personality. My last one is Pitbull to 135.
Okay.
He's small, bro. Somehow he beat Michael Chandler in lightweight in Bellator, but in my opinion, he looked really small in featherweight
He looked
against
like
Yair.
a pit bull.
Yeah, he was a little
Short
dog.
and thick.
Exactly. So I think if he cuts down a little bit more into bantamweight, if Sean O'Malley leaves, is dead, bro. It's so dead. Like Peter Yan, it feels weird because I always think of Peter Yan as this 34-year-old guy, but he's only 31.
Yeah.
But it feels like his peak has already passed.
He's old in MMA years.
Exactly.
He's like Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway's 38, but he's 32, 33.
Yeah, he's just had so many fights. So it's really, in the future of bantamweight, it's going to be like Umar and Merab for a couple more years and Sean O'Malley if he stays. And then you got guys coming up like Marcus McGee and maybe Fareed Basharat if he's not a fraud. So it's like if you get Pitbull in here for like 1 year, could add some excitement for the time being while you find another prospect.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Make sure you goes down to the comments. Let us know who are some fighters you think should change weight classes here in 2025. While you're down there, make sure you guys like and subscribe. We appreciate all the love and support, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See